Hello everyone, welcome back to another video of investment appraisal. In the last video, we learned about the non-discounting method. More specifically, we learned about the payback and the average rate of return method. As we learned from the previous video, the non-discounting method, they are more easier to calculate and more straightforward to understand. However, some of the time it might lead to less accurate decision. As a result, this video will teach you how to calculate using the discounting method. The discounting method is a technique that takes into the consideration about the magnitude, timing, and the risk of a project. And the main idea is to maximize the shareholders' value. Two of the most commonly used discounting method, one of them is called the net present value, or usually people call them NPV, and another one is the internal rate of return, and commonly known as IRR. I'm sure that students notice that the things are getting more and more expensive every year. This is known as the inflation. Therefore, in this case, the same amount of money in the future, it will worth less than the money today. Knowing that the money in the future will worth less than the money today, what NPV does is that it puts a discount factor for all of the money in the future and try to estimate what is the value of that money in today's term. The number for the discounting factor, it could be interest rate, where you can put and save your money in the bank and earn some interest, or it can be government bond, and also it can be the inflation rate as well. In order to calculate for the NPV, the formula is NPV, net present value, equals this symbol over here means sum up everything for the future. This CF represents cash flow, divided by 1 plus the R represent the discount factor or the interest rate. In order to calculate the NPV, it is very important to understand what is the time value of money. First simple question is, if I put £10 in the bank for 2 years, and assuming every year I have a 10% interest rate, then how much I will have after 2 years? It is very important to understand correctly that with the 10% interest rate of £10, every year there will be 1 additional pound. So the wrong answer is 10 plus 1 pound in the 1 year, and then plus another 1 pound in the second year. The correct answer is actually the £10 multiply 100 plus the 10%, and then multiply the 100 plus the 10%, which gives an answer of 12.10 pounds. The main reason is because in the first year, when you have 10% interest rate, this becomes £11. And then when your £11 has an additional 10%, your interest also earns interest. That's why you will end up with 12.1 pound instead of just £12. Another way of writing the equation is the £10 times 1.1 times the 1.1. These two will both give you the same correct answer. You can also write the £10 times 1 plus the 10%, which is 0.1, to the second power or square. Again, this will give you the same correct answer. Okay, step 2. To understand how to calculate the NPV, it is also very important to understand what is the discount factor. Discount factor is the opposite of the interest rate. So instead of making the initial value bigger, the discount factor makes the value smaller. The main reason why we are applying the discount factor to the future value is because that the same amount of money in the future will worth less than the same amount of the money today. Main reason in reality is because every country has some level of inflation rate. So if we apply the similar example that we have a while ago, however, just a slightly different is that how much will you have if you get 12.1 pounds in 2 years time? How much is it going to worth today? In this case, it will be the reciprocal of the compound interest formula, or another word, it will be the opposite of the compound interest. And most people know it as the discount factor. So let's have a look at the example. If I have 12.1 pounds in 2 years, and if I want to calculate what is its worth today, then first I have to divide it by the 10% for the first year, and then again I have to divide once again by the 10% for the second year, and this will give me 10 pounds worth today. Another way of writing a similar equation is that this 12.1 pound divided by 1 plus the 10% raised to the second power, which will give you the same correct answer. You can also do it by 12.1 pound times this number here, which comes from this one, and it will also give you the same 10 pounds for the answer. Okay, so let's have a look at the example question from the NPV. Assuming in order to be able to invest in the machine A, we have to pay £750,000 to buy the machine. Therefore, in the year 0, which means today, we have to pay £750. We do not receive any revenue for today. Therefore, the net cash flow will be a negative 750,000. And every year there will be £7,500 of the expenses. The revenue that we can receive from this machine A varies from 150,000 to 300,000 pounds. In this case, assuming the discount factor is 10%, then what is the value of the NPV? In order to calculate for the NPV, we will need to draw a bigger table. For the first column here, we have year 0, which represents today, and year 1 to year 5. In the second column, we have the cash out, which represent the expenses. For today, we have to invest £750,000, and for every year, we have to pay an expense of £7,500 to use the machine. You can assume this £7,500 is the budget for Facebook advertisement, which will later drive revenue for your project. In this case, in the first year, you will have £150,000. And then if you subtract your Facebook advertisement expenses of £7,500, then you have a net cash flow of 142.5 thousand. For the next step, students will need to listen more carefully because it is less straightforward. We are going to talk about the discount factor. So as you can see, the discount factor here in the year 0, which means today, is 1. 1 means 100%. So your money today does not need to put any discount factor because the value of your money today will remain the same. However, after first year, you will see that the discount factor becomes smaller and smaller. This represents that the money in the future will become less and less worthy. In order to get this 0.91 for the discount factor in the first year, we take this 1 and then we divide by 1 plus 10%. Or another way of saying this is this 1 here divide by 1.1. Then this will give you 0.91. The next thing is that we have to calculate the present value for every year. So for today, because it does not need to discount, the total net outflow will be a negative £750,000. And for the year 1, for the revenue, because we need to wait for 1 more year and the interest rate is 10%, therefore it becomes smaller. So even though in the year 1 we will get 142.5 thousand after deducting the marketing advertisement expenses, however, if we put in the discount factor of 0.91, the 142.5 times 0.91, your answer will get 129.675 thousand. We apply the similar pattern for all of the remaining years, which in this case, this 192.5 thousand comes from 200,000 revenue minus the 7,500 expenses. And we have to apply the discount factor of 0.83. The 0.83 comes from the previous year discounting factor of 0.91, and we divide it by 1.1 again, therefore we got 0.83. The next step is that we have to multiply this discount factor of 0.83 by the net cash flow of 192.5 thousand. Then it gives us a present value of 159.775 thousand. Again, for the year 3, the cash inflow of 260,000 minus the expenses of 7,500, this gives us a net cash flow of 252.5 thousand for year 3 and year 4. And we have to apply the discount factor. For the year 3, the discount factor comes from the 0.83 from the year 2. Once again, divide by 1.1 because of the 10% discount rate. This gives us 0.75 for discounting factor for the year 3. And again, if we divide by 1.1 again, we will get 0.68 for the discounting factor for the year 4. And to calculate the present value of year 3, we multiply this discount factor of 0.75 times the 252.5 thousand. Then this gives us a present value of year 3 as 189.375 thousand. For the year 4, it will be the discounting factor of 0.68 multiplied by the net cash flow of year 4 of 252.5 thousand, then this will give us a present value of 171.7 thousand for the year 4. And lastly, for the year 5, we have a revenue of 300,000. We have to subtract by the 7,500 marketing expenses, and this will give us a net cash flow of 292.5 thousand. And then we have to multiply this by 0.62 discount factor. And this 0.62 comes from the discount factor of year 4, which is 0.68. Once again, we want to divide this by 1.1. Then if we multiply the 0.62 by the 292.5 thousand, then it gives us a present value of 181.35 thousand. In this case, for the net present value, we just need to add up all of the value from the present value. So the negative 750 plus 129.675 thousand in year 1 plus 159.775 thousand in year 2 plus 189.375 thousand in year 3 plus 171.7 thousand in year 4 plus 181.35 thousand in year 5. In total, this will give us a positive net present value of 81.875 thousand. In order to strengthen students' understanding about the calculation for the NPV, I would like to leave you with a NPV practice question. In this case, assuming that for the machine B, you will need to pay 310,000 to buy the machine. Therefore, your net cash flow today will be a negative 310,000. For every year, you are planning to spend Facebook advertisement to advertise your machine for £15,000. And with this strategy, it will give you a revenue fluctuating from 125,000 to 130,000. For the net cash flow of each year, it will be the cash inflow minus the cash outflow. Then that will give you the cash and the net cash flow for every year. Now, assuming that the discount factor is 10%, then what is the value of the NPV for the machine B? After calculating the NPV, you will also need to tell me whether the machine A or the machine B is a better investment. As a short summary, the NPV is one of the most commonly used discounting method for the investment appraisal. One of the main reasons is because NPV take into the consideration about the interest rate, the inflation rate, and the amount of cash inflow revenue that you will generate in the future. I hope this video helps you to evaluate the project in the future. For now, many thanks for watching this video, and I will see you in next one.